Ask a composer who the greatest of all time is, and the answer you'll hear most often is Bach. I've got proof. Bach recently came top in a poll of 200 composers for BBC Music. Mozart and Beethoven may be more popular in the concert hall, but Bach is preferred by composers and musicians because Bach taught them all.
That comes from a Bach piece.
It was by Bach. It went like that.
Bach is the greatest teacher because he possessed the greatest musical mind that ever existed. Bach's total mastery of harmony and counterpoint meant he could weave separate lines of music into a musical whole better than any other human, period. However, his complexity and density meant it took a while for the composer to be appreciated. About 100 years, in fact. If you said you loved Bach during Mozart or Beethoven's time, people would probably assume you meant his fifth son, Carl Philipp Emanuel, or his other son, JC, or his other son, JCF Bach, or his other son, WF Bach. Large family, the Bachs. For 100 years, this musical giant was silent in the concert halls, but Bach was still doing what Bach does best, teaching. This is the most influential piano book ever written. Bach wrote his 48 preludes and fugues as exercises for his own children, and it would be the infant Mozart, the child Beethoven, and pretty much every other young composer who would learn from this slim volume. Not just how to play fugues, but how to compose. The influence of the small book on classical music is incalculable. Gathering dust. Bach's revival has continued unabated to this day. The world just needed time to catch up with how good Bach was. And that's because Bach wasn't just a musical genius, he was also a master of expressiveness. Bach didn't write operas, but he never needed to. Over the course of some half a dozen passions and 300 cantatas, he more than rewarded the human voice and spirit. He wrote these weekly for most of his working life, ready to be performed on Sunday. Only 200 of those 300 cantatas have survived today, and we've lost at least 2 whole passions. Yet what has survived is a gargantuan record of incredible vocal music, profound study of spirituality, passion, the human condition, and contemplation of death. No other composer has a musical mind as profound and as accomplished. He is awe-inspiring to an almost intimidating degree. He is a composer of sometimes bewildering complexity, but, crucially, the most intense and profound emotion.
echt niemand in mijn nek. Geen zweetlucht van ome Jan met kerst en mijn verjaardag. Geen mens vlakbij die meurt naar rook of knoflook uit zijn bek. Moet ik straks mijn collega's huggen, natte kussen bij het gaan, al die kleffe handen schudden, kan ik al dat vlees wel aan? En onze angst voor wat we verleden en wat we verloren. Want wat ik lief heb, maakt me het bangst. Een open relatie gaf iedere leerling een heel speciaal gevoel. Als je begrijpt wat ik bedoel. Dus je begrijpt, voor de eerste les zat ik behoorlijk in de stress. Ik de muis en hij de kat, wachten tot die aan me zat. Oké, nou zij is de schissel in top 2000 feest. Een klein beetje jaloers, want she's the hottest bitch in this place. Wat kan ze zingen en nog veel meer, de glazen trillen, zo crystal clear en wat een billen. Hey, hey, hey.
Nee, dat is Hendel.
Brahms, Klarawijk, Alessandro Stradella, Tchaikovsky.
Bach had ook 20 kinderen, hè?
En daarom hield Tchaikovsky ook zo van balletten. Want het was zijn enige manier om knappe mannen en strakke maillot te kijken. Ik bedoel, het heet niet voor niets een notenkraker, weet je wel? Ik ben niet door het